and here I'd love to have access to a blackboard or a whiteboard, but it's so far that, get out your binoculars. Jeremy, zoom in. Okay, let's talk for a minute about the goals. What the series aims to achieve. Let's put it in very practical, active terms. So upon completion of the series, students will be able to. I'll give you one or two examples, and then I'd love to hear from you what else you think the series will aim to achieve. First of all, maybe I don't have to give you an example. What's the most obvious thing you think the series wants students to be able to do? To read the prayers fluently. So they'll be able to read the prayers fluently. What else?
Understand the structure of a service.
Definitely. Understand the structure of the service. And could you expand in just one example, for example?
Well, the very order of the books takes you straight through a regular service. From the Baruch Hu, the Shemanis blessings, through the Amidah, to the Torah service, through the Aleinu. So you've got it all over the
So by its very nature, the child winds his or her way through the service. Mark.
Understand key concepts and terms.
Definitely. Understand key concepts and terms. An example, Mark?
Again, in Baruch Hu,
yeah.
We just don't, in the book it just doesn't teach kids how to read, but also to understand the concept of where it comes in the service, and some of the, what I think is one of the best parts of the series is it takes a lot of the root words that are associated with different prayers, and it keeps repeating them so it becomes part of the child's routine.
Very important. So let's make it even a separate one. Let's make it to be familiar with roots, prefixes, and suffixes. It would become familiar. All right, you can just yell out if there's anything else you can think of. So that's basic prayer grammar. Okay, from anybody, why do you think it's important that the kids should be able to identify the zero, focus in on the root of the word, for example?
Well, to recognize if they've learned the word in one context, in one prayer, to recognize in another prayer, to see that there's similar concepts in it.
Exactly. To be able to extrapolate from, they learn the root of one word, from that they can adapt it and use it much more widely. So for example, if they learn Gimel, Daled, Lamed, in one context, they should be able to see Gedulator and Gedulah and Gadol and Hagadol, Hakibor, Bahamra, and so on, and recognize those are all to do with greatness, so it's likely a prayer of praise to God, prayer extolling God. Any other? Yes?
Well, I was just looking at a little further the roots and prefixes and the suffixes. In the short time we have to teach them, we don't have time to teach them word for word, but all the vocabulary, but they can start thinking in a way to be able to figure it out on their own. That means in something or on something or, does something.
Very, very, very true. Because if we can teach them these basic skills that they can apply to other contexts, we've succeeded in something important. We like to call it word attack skills. It's sort of a aggressive term. But basically it's zooming in, zeroing in on a word and taking it apart and learning from that and adapting it. So word attack skills.
It also provides like a bridge to the conversation.
That can be discussed. Do you see it that in what? Tell me what you explained to me.
Well, with the root words.
Oh, definitely. So that the roots, they could. So let's put that in as
words, prefixes, suffixes, things like that. You sort of get a bridge or a link to it,
and link them to other words. Yeah. One or two others.
It helps students to experience in their life the concept of prayer. So it's not just the translation, but it's also an emotional.
So to connect the prayer to their own lives, Hineni makes a serious effort to do that. We think that it's the only way the student will actually care is if he or she can see a connection in his or her own life to the prayer. So students will be able to connect the prayer to their own lives. And this is actually we found the best way to write your goals, and that is to construct them in seriously active terms. So then you can test you can assess your progress, the students' progress, and you can see whether you achieved what you wanted to achieve. We'd also like them to, understand the choreography, know how to pray the prayer, when to pray, how should we phrase it, when to rise up on your toes, when to bow. The choreography. What's to become familiar with, to understand. I think we're good. All right.
Comfortable.
Let's put being comfortable. So that they don't feel stupid if everyone else is rising up 3 times a day, looking around. Okay, and as we continue,